Hello everyone. Today is Tuesday, and same as every week, we're doing our workout and we're doing it together. Just in case we don't really feel like doing it, it's easier if we do it together. Let's just get right into it, and we'll talk a little bit so that the time goes by a little quicker. All right, we're gonna do 20 to 30 minutes. We'll try to go as quickly as possible, so we may be done with this and on with our day. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So, I guess there are a couple things that we could talk about. I feel like I have a lot of thoughts in general. But the first thing that I can think of is I know that these kettlebell swings focus mostly on like core and the lower body, so legs, and not as much on the upper body, I guess. And so I think it was like maybe 2 days ago or something, I was in the kitchen, and the kitchen has this like little bar separating it from the dining room, and it was like the right amount of space, and I did some like push-ups, so like just for shits and giggles, not like at an incline but flat, and I was just kind of like going like that, and it was just like really not like, I was a little more inclined but not too much, and I did, I don't know, like maybe 30 push-ups while I was cooking and kind of waiting. Man, my pecs are sore like 2 days later. So clearly these muscles are not getting any work. And so at some point we'll have to include some other things, some other exercises for different parts of the body. Now, something interesting is that a few years ago, when I was last, maybe not when I was last, but I want to say it was maybe like 2021 that I was in a gym. No, 21 maybe. Yeah, maybe 2021. Tried to do a gym. I was talking to one of the instructors, and he was saying how sorry, I lost my train of thought because I was looking at the clock. He was saying that emphasizing my workouts for my lower body would be beneficial for me because, these are larger muscle groups, and that I have a lot more muscle down here. So like focusing on that would really help with my weight loss and stuff like that. But then this upper part really gets neglected, and just doing like a very simple type of workout, and this shit just feels so sore. All right, let's keep going. I need to get my heart rate up because the Oura Ring isn't really taking the my heart rate is not getting elevated enough for this to trigger a workout in the app, and so we need to do it more. All right. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 30. But that also ties in with the, is my heart? Yeah, I feel it. With the other thing, which is that our kettlebell workouts are sort of coming to an end, unfortunately, because our time in Argentina is coming to an end. I knew for a while that this was coming up, but I didn't really have any dates, any specific dates. I knew the general, I knew that even from when I first came down, but it was just like a general sort of open thing, and now it's actually getting finalized. And so I'm supposed to be looking at tickets and flights and stuff this afternoon. And so, yeah, our time to Argentina is coming to an end, you guys. It has been fun. I mean, it's still a little ways away. We're not going to leave tomorrow, in the next week, or even in the next month. But as of right now, we will be here through the end of August, around that time. End of August, maybe even beginning of September. It really depends on what kind of flights I can get, and all that. Actually, yeah, I believe it's beginning of September. I need to take a final look. I know I just said that I had the exact dates, and the exact dates are never exact dates. There's a range, and so I usually try to give myself a little bit of leeway, a little bit of wiggle room to find the cheapest flights possible. And so that's something I'm supposed to be working on this afternoon. All right. We're doing, we're at 30, we're going to 45. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45. And so when we go, we're going to be a little bit more mobile. We're going to be a little bit more nomadic, if you will. And so there won't be kettlebells around for us to do our workouts. We're going to have to figure out something else in terms of, working out our muscles and sort of maintain this rhythm that we got. We need to find something else. And so something that I've started to look into in somewhat preparation is some body weight exercises, and hence my thought of like doing push-ups the other day against the kitchen counter bar thingy, because like that's one of the body weight exercises. But I don't think that I can do like a full push-up right now. And so I started with like a simple, standing sort of incline push-up. And so in that way, it'll make it easier for me to sort of get started a little bit. But yeah, I started looking into those. Started looking into into having figuring out a routine with body weight exercises that we can do on the go, regardless of where we are. All right, we're at 45, we're going 60, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60. And so that's one of the things, body weight exercises. Then the other thing that I've been thinking about is, I've been thinking about, what are those called? Resistance bands. The little, they're like big rubber bands that you can like generate some tension with. And so I've been thinking about those. Because, they're light, they're small, you can travel with them fairly easily. And so that's something that we can definitely do, or at least consider doing. Some of those bands might be a good option for doing some muscle tension. I also thought about, and I may still do it, all of these things I'm considering, getting like a jump rope. I know that that could also be like really good in terms of doing some cardio. So as I think about training to increase my VO2 max, that seems like a good thing to do. It's a good call. And again, these things are light and portable, and it's easy to just kind of get them going. So I keep thinking what we're going to be doing when we no longer have these guys. So I want to be more prepared this time before we head out into the world again. Because last time we did this, you guys remember a couple months ago, coming down here from the US, was a bit hectic. And it has been difficult, and I'm still struggling in general. It also coincided with the sort of the excitement of the beginning wearing off, and so sort of the real work began, and I don't think that I was prepared. I stepped out of my bubble, all the things that you guys and I have talked about. All right, we're at 45, we're going to 60. 47, 48, 49, 51, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 8, 9, 60. Why do I have the feeling like we just repeated that set? Maybe we did. Oh, shit. I don't really know. Okay. If we did, we'd just have one extra set. Anyway, so that is something that I'm thinking about, and I want to keep thinking about, because things just still feel very precarious. And here's something interesting that there's a part of me that is saying, oh, don't talk about this shit because you know what happens. And there's the other part of me that says, do it because you know, like it has happened to you, that there's someone out there who is not in the, I guess, in the vocal minority, but there's somebody out there who would probably benefit from hearing this. And so, let's say it. This process of weight loss, for a lot of people, has nothing to do with knowing, having or not having enough knowledge and understanding of nutrition and exercise. And mostly it has to do with your head, with your brain, with your mind. Some of these impulses that lead us to overeat, overnourish, as it's being used around more these days, have a lot to do with mental health, trauma, a bunch of different things where my therapist and I were talking about it yesterday quite a bit, because some of these things, the mechanics, if you will, the mechanics of choosing the right foods or doing the exercise, the mechanics of that are quite simple. It is very simple to swap out one meal for another, and that's the advice. Or, it's very simple to just do this little bit of exercise, just do these 5 minutes. That advice abounds in the internet. And anytime that I mention something like this, there's always a set of comments that you guys don't always see because YouTube blocks a lot of that stuff, especially what, the nastier it gets. It has 2 levels of blocking. One where it says, this comment seems a little iffy, you might want to take a look. And then there are the ones that are flat out offensive that YouTube blocks and says, you don't want to look at this shit because it's too offensive. And then you have to click another thing to say, yes, I'm okay with seeing the offensive shit in order to see it. But you guys don't always see it, but anytime that I say something like this, it always comes out oh, you're making it way too complicated, stop being a pussy, just push through. Look, you're overcomplicating this. Just do this diet that I'm doing, or just do this exercise that I'm doing, and then you'll see. And everybody has a million fucking reasons why it's worked out for them, blah, 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 this and that. And I was talking to my therapist about this last night, and we came to some interesting conclusion. Let me do another set before my heart rate drops too much, because I think I already did. All right, we're at 60, we're going to 75. 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 75. So, there's always that very, I want to say, vocal minority that is always talking about, and these are the people that are the most, the loudest when it comes to advice they want to give. And please don't misunderstand me. I'm not judging anyone or being ungrateful. I think that most of these people are very well intentioned. They're taking the time out of their days to share something that they think is right. And it's probably right for them. It absolutely is right for them. It has worked for them, and that's why they're sharing it. And again, they're taking time out of their day to do this. No one is asking them to. No one, but they're being nice enough to take time out of their day to share some of their knowledge. And I really appreciate that. And I've always encouraged that on this channel, where we can have an open discussion about these things. Now, the thing that I've been hesitant to mention, because now it's almost like my brain is getting that knee-jerk reaction of like, you know what happens when you talk about this shit and people come out and start, and is that sometimes when you're in the middle of this, in the middle of the shit, you don't want to hear it. And it affects me. I don't think that I'm very, the more that I think about this, the more that I think about how I feel when I'm reading the comments or anything like that. And some of the ones that even if they aren't mean, even if they're not attacking on purpose or trolling or anything, sometimes it doesn't feel good. Sometimes you feel so defeated on any given moment in any given day that, hearing about what you're doing wrong, when you're full of doubt and when you have a million things going on and you're feeling depleted of energy and all that, you just don't really want to fucking hear it, in terms of like, oh, this is what you're doing wrong, this is what you should be doing. See, this thing that you just did, that's going to fuck you up, blah, 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 blah. Sometimes you don't want to hear the shit because most of this process is not physical. It's not that I don't know fucking rice has a higher glycemic load than broccoli, or that I don't know that that glass of wine is probably going to be an issue with water retention or getting my butt, it's not that I don't know these things. And I think that for most of us, it's not that we don't know these things. If we could fucking eat nothing but a super clean diet, we fucking would. It's just that for most of us, it is all up here. It's a mental thing. And let me do another set and then I'll actually talk about what my therapist and I worked out yesterday. All right, let's do, where are we? We're at 75, we're going to 90. Oh, wow, moving fast. 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90. And so, the thing that we worked out yesterday was some of these things, some of these actions are very straightforward. Don't drink the soda, drink the water. Don't eat the pasta, eat the veggies. It's a very simple decision, and it has massive benefits. Doing that one thing has massive benefits, and it's very simple. It's not like we don't know. And so why is it that we can't make that decision consistently? And it really comes down to that there's nothing about this that is logic or that is based in logic. It's all based in emotion. And emotion is not logical. Oh, come on, cop. I'm gonna roll here. And so if there is something that is so simple, so straightforward, that has massive benefits, let's see, how did I say it? If there's something that is so simple and so straightforward that we can't get to do consistently because there's some emotional hurdle that we can't get over, that's worth paying attention to. That's the real thing. That's the real work. And we can try to figure out, again, we can try to bulldoze our way through it. And I think that that's the approach to a lot of people. And I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say that can be more the approach of men over women. I could be wrong about this, because I actually know a lot more men that are like me, as opposed to the more like, I'm just gonna push through and, but it just, if there's some emotional hurdle that, that is impeding something as simple and as straightforward as making those simple decisions on a regular basis, then we can't really ignore that, and there's always that, especially growing up in a culture, I guess, that still emphasizes this sort of like macho mentality so much of like, oh, you just gotta be, don't be a pussy and just be strong. And I just feel like if we keep ignoring that, somehow it comes back and bites us in the ass. I mean, this is why we're here in the first place, dealing with those, and it doesn't always, the thing is that it doesn't always show physically. That's the tricky part. It doesn't always show physically. Like for us, we choose to overeat. And so we are not, it shows when you fucking carry it very visibly. But for other people, it's drug abuse that, and it starts to show later on, but it's not as visible at first. Alcoholism, anger issues, sex addiction, all kinds of shit that is not as visible as it is for us. And so I think that the same way that you don't tell an alcoholic, oh, you just get over it, just stop being a pussy and stop drinking. The emotional hurdles that don't let you make that simple decision are what need to be explored. Those are the things. And so the reason I always fear saying this stuff, because it's somebody's always going to come and start talking about how I'm making it too complicated and I'm overthinking it, blah, 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 blah. And some of them are well-intentioned, some of them are not, as I have now been able to find, but at the end of the day, just, I'm willing to put up with that, because there's probably somebody who is not in, like I said, in the vocal minority, who's not going to be loud, who's not going to, but somebody who's probably watching. I'm talking to you, you're probably watching, you've never commented, I don't know that you're watching, but you probably feel like me, because I'm not a person who normally would comment on videos. And you feel like me, and it probably helped you to know that I feel exactly the same way, and I'm struggling with the same fucking things every single day. And these are the things that I'm trying to do, that I'm trying to work through to see if I can address the root of the problem and hopefully become a healthier person. And the more I keep doing this physical process, the more I'm starting to realize how the emotional, psychological aspects of this go fucking deeper than any of us imagine. And unfortunately, that's the work that needs to be done. So let me do my last set, and then we'll do the curls. 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 100. All right, 100 swings. And now we're gonna do the curls. 4 sets of 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. I'm thinking that maybe we can start alternating the swings with the curls to optimize the workout a little bit more. I don't know. If I remember, we'll do it next Friday. See if we can remember it. Remember it. So yeah. So again, to everyone, honestly, if you're getting offended by this, then this is probably not for you, because there's no reason to get offended. But just so that, for my own peace of mind, it's not that I don't know what to eat or how to eat it. It's more of a, when it comes down to, can I overcome those emotional hurdles that normally take me in the wrong direction? And is there hope? Probably. I'm still looking for it. We're still trying to figure this out. So again, if you identify with this, we're working on it. We're trying to figure it out. We keep at it. This is what we're doing. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, and 40. Let's see, 10, 19. Staying a little bit longer, maybe like half an hour at this point. Yeah, like 32 minutes. All right, let's get this over with. Let's get it over with. 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60. Oh. See, like that's something we could do with like a couple of resistance bands, right? We got one more. One more. And then we got to cook. We are cooking today. We are cooking lunch. And so that'll help. That will help. All right, last set, and then we'll go cook. 2, 3, 4, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, and 80. Okay. Done. All right, you guys, well, I'm gonna go actually shower first, and then after that, we'll go make lunch. But anyway, if you're in there, and you probably know who you are if you're still watching, I feel your pain. I'm feeling it too. And we're trying to do this together so that we find a way out. Not really doing it for anybody else, honestly. Because if you know what works for you, then great. But if you don't, then neither do I. And that's why we're here. That's when we're figuring it out. I'm here because you're here, and you're here because I'm here. And this is how we sort of keep each other going. So that's it. I'll shower. We're cooking some chicken and vegetables like last week, where I'll make enough for like a couple meals, and then I'll keep the flavor profile pretty neutral, and then we'll be able to like mix them up with other things just to make them a little more interesting. So, all right, thank you guys. See you in a bit. All right, and here is lunch. Like I mentioned earlier, I decided to do like a bunch of chicken, a bunch of vegetables, divided it. I wanted to divide it into 2 meals, but it actually came out to like 3. So this has, like chicken, a bunch of different vegetables, and then I flavored it with some fish sauce, some sesame oil, like some Asian flavors, I guess. And then I added some corn, and I also added a bunch of pea protein and collagen just to give it a little more, that sort of like thicker consistency and obviously more protein. It doesn't look very appetizing, but it's probably pretty tasty. And then Julima made a little bit of rice for herself, but I will not be partaking on the rice. But I will have an orange for dessert. It's about 260 grams of orange. So this is lunch. I'm going to eat it, and then we will look at the all the numbers and the macros and all that stuff a little bit later. All right, see you. Sorry, guys. I almost forgot again to film this, but luckily I got it before I mixed everything in. So we're making our little fatty tuna bowl. And it's really not actually fatty tuna. It's just regular tuna, but it's got a lot of fatty ingredients in it. It's got walnuts and almonds, chia seeds, flax seeds, sesame seeds, olive oil, and mayo. And so this is what we got. We're going to just kind of mix it up a little bit. And again, we'll take a look at the numbers at the end of the day. So we've got a lot of stuff to do, but this is dinner today, so this is what we're eating. So let me just eat this, and then get back to work, and then we will take a look at the numbers before the end of the day. But just wanted to show real quick what dinner's going to be. Let's just get into it and take a look at what we had today, now that we're done eating. Calories for today, 2527. So as far as calories go, we are good, you guys. That's amazing. That's definitely what we want to see. Now let's take a look at what went into making lunch, and you guys. So lunch, that sort of somewhat unappetizing looking soup thing, but it was actually pretty tasty. Very good. It had 338 grams of chicken, 250 grams of mixed vegetables, 5 grams of olive oil, 10 grams of ghee or clarified butter, and 40 grams of corn, canned corn. And this was basically everything that went into the sort of without the flavoring, I guess, if you will. This is the part that was cooked together and then put aside. And I ended up, everything that I cooked today, I ended up dividing into 3 portions. And this is 60% of one of those portions, because Jolima did want to have some rice. And so she basically gave me like about 60% of what I cooked for today. And she kept about 40%, plus she ate some rice. And so this was 60% of one of those portions, and we have 2 more of those that we can use throughout the week. Then for the sort of flavoring, we have same thing, you know, it was about 60% of what I put in there after I measured it. And this time, I actually did manage to measure all these ingredients. Sometimes I try to eyeball it, but I've been trying to get a little bit more specific with the specifics, with measuring each ingredient as much as I can. So ended up being 17 grams of fish sauce, and a little bit, 1 gram of carbs, 1 gram of protein, not much there. 22 grams of oyster sauce, basically all carbs. 1.8 grams of sesame oil, just a little bit of fat. 6 grams of soy sauce, that really has basically nothing. There's very little. 0.2 grams of carbs and 0.4 grams of protein. It doesn't even register, 3 calories. Doesn't even register as much as anything. 18 grams of honey, and then that one does register. And then we added 18.6 grams of collagen peptides and 54 grams of pea protein. So that was sort of what we used to make the soup, sort of the flavoring of this lunch. And then I had 260 grams of orange, and that's oranges are very carby, they're so delicious, but that makes sense. So I do need to change the timing, because the timing isn't right on these guys, but I'll do it later. And then I did manage to have dinner today between 5 and 6, which is good. Yay. And this is what I'm calling, and I'll see if maybe at some point we start a little database of recipes that we're making that help. But this is what I'm calling a fatty tuna bowl, because it's not fatty tuna, but it's just regular canned tuna, but it's got a whole bunch of fatty foods added to it. So we got 140 grams of canned tuna, and then 20 grams of olive oil, 5 grams of flaxseed, 5 grams of chia seeds, 8 grams of sesame seeds, 50 grams of walnuts, 25 grams of almonds, 25 grams of mayo, and 8 grams of Brazil nuts. So it ended up being a little bit more than I intended. And not that I had a difficult time eating it because it was not delicious. It tastes good. It's just not, there isn't that same motivation to scarf it down like we do with fast food or, something like that. So this was, 50 grams of protein, 102 grams of fat. This is, pretty good. Of course, some people will come out and say everything that's wrong with this particular meal for whatever reason. We're good. We stayed way under for carbs, which is good. We're kind of for yesterday. We went over a little bit for yesterday and today, so we're sort of bringing it down a little bit and sort of evening it out. When over protein, maybe we didn't need to have this much protein. Maybe I overdid it a little bit with the pea protein, and honestly I did that just arbitrarily. The amount that I chose was let's make sure that we eat enough protein today, and so I just added it, and we don't need to go to 198. As long as we get to 176, that's good. Now the thing is that as much as I'm focusing on the general things, something that I do have to keep in mind is that there's only so much protein that your body can handle in one meal. I was reading about this recently, and so if I eat too much protein in one sitting, it won't be able to use all of it. It just gets rid of it through urine. So you're basically wasting it. So That's something that we're going to have to, I don't know. I mean, I don't want to overcomplicate things for myself, but that's something that perhaps we need to keep in mind as we move forward. But overall, we're good. I mean, a little bit higher in fat. And again, most of this was done very arbitrarily. And so, and then I put it after the fact. I'm putting it into the app and seeing, the numbers. And I'm like, oh, maybe I overdid it a little bit. So we could have been a little bit lower in protein, a little bit lower in fat. We could have had even a little bit more carbs. But overall, this is fine. This is a good day. I'm not gonna nitpick it. So this is good. Tuesday is down.